10 Minutes to Joy is your weekly invitation to reset, recharge, and rediscover your most joyful self through aha moments and simple energy techniques. You're listening to holistic psychotherapist Sylvia Plester-Silk. I've worked with individuals, couples, and groups. From parole officer to private practice, I've learned many lessons, and I'm ready to share. Today, I want to talk to you about a challenge I've had. And I think I'm not the only one that does this because I've heard it talked about elsewhere. I get addicted to people's potential. So I meet somebody and I might not see them as they are, but I see their potential of what they could be. That sounds wonderful. And certainly when I'm seeing clients, that's absolutely spectacular and that's perfect. But when I'm interacting with potential friends, landlords in the past, I've sometimes seen what they could be. And so I hold that as almost as if it's their current reality. And I have high expectations of the relationship and what will happen because of it. And then when they're incapable of living up to what I see as their potential, I get disappointed. And I have at times been very disappointed in some people in my life. And I'm recently coming to realize it's because I've bloody well addicted to their potential instead of seeing them how they really are. So, one example is coming to mind. A number of years ago, I rented office space from a couple. And when I first met them, they were lovely. The wife was lovely to me. And I just saw her as this beautiful person. And things went around tickety-boo, and I realized that they were they would invite me into decision making for them. And actually, like a fool, I allowed this to happen. My boundaries weren't as good as they're becoming. And they would ask me about hiring and what intuitively I felt. They'd ask me about additional tenants coming into the building and what I felt. And I would just freely give this advice, probably in some ways with an unaware expectation that the energy of friendship would just be repeated. And for the most part, I felt that until I gave notice. And I gave notice. It was accepted by the wife. I was subletting and everything looked great. Then for whatever reason, I'm going to guess it was about a month later, she decided that wasn't okay and tried to rescind her written notice that she had um, given me permission and the A-OK with a specific date that I could move out. And then I said, and she said, and I hope that's okay with you. And I said, no, it's not okay with me. And so what began as a really symbiotic relationship, or I thought at the time, and I'll reflect a little bit more on this after I tell the story, became a highly conflictual relationship to the point that she accused me of stealing money from her and her family because I had left when she had given me permission to leave initially. I I consulted a lawyer about my rights, and I actually had the lawyer write her a letter, not as strong as he wanted to write, but I wanted to help her. My goal, even at that point, was to teach her or help her grow or learn. Okay, so here's the problem in all of this is I was giving, 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 giving. giving, giving, giving. And I never got back. But I would hold on to the potential of this person and the potential of the relationship and what I thought was becoming a friendship. Business and friendship are often best kept separate, especially when it's a landlord or somewhere like that, that it can get difficult. And so I wasn't paying attention to what I was receiving back and what they were giving me back. To them, I was just an employee. I was nothing more. But I held on to that potential friendship and sold my soul for it. Got accused of theft. And if you know me at all, I've barely ever taken a pen from a place I worked. And if I did that, it was probably by mistake. So when we get locked into potential, how this can play out in another way is I meet somebody and they do bad behavior. But I think, oh, they've got potential and they could, like, I just need to talk to them, or I can sort them out, or I can help them grow, or they're going to figure it out. I'm just going to be honest with them and they'll get it. But their behavior continues to show you disrespect, similar to my relationship with the previous landlord. Sometimes we just need to stop, and it's not about keeping score, but it's about what is this person's behavior showing you? And how much are you looking at potential in this friendship, businessship, relationship? Because when we hold on to the potential in a hope that it will get better, we're coming from this place of lack, trying to create a relationship instead of being full within ourselves and then having a relationship. When we get addicted to another person's potential, we keep giving them another chance. We may talk about a behavior that's not okay with us or for us, and how that behavior impacts us, and they continue the behavior, and we perhaps don't listen to the red flag. Whew. I've done this far too many times in my life. I'm an overgiver. Could probably in some moments have joined a 12-step group to help me with that. And I've learned over the years that I have to pull back and wait and see what the relationship is about before I give too much. Am I being given back simple things like respect? Are they giving back energetically to the relationship? Are they making effort? I've gotten hooked in where I've made more effort trying to get somebody a job, freaking got them a job, and they turned it down and complained about how they didn't have any job opportunities and how bloody, bloody, bloody. Well, then I'm done. But the problem was that I, along the line, didn't listen to and watch and observe the behavior, that individual was not motivated to find a job, not in the least. That individual was stuck in her victim mode. And I was doing all this work. And if I'm probably really honest, I don't think she wanted me to. That's kind of embarrassing to acknowledge. And I still remind myself that I am human and give myself self-compassion. So I'd invite you to just consider this. Have you gotten addicted to somebody's potential? It can happen in romantic relationships to the ninth degree, right? Is like, oh, I see this person could be so much more. And if I just support them in this way, or I help them in this way, or perhaps if I do this or I say this, maybe then they'll do that. And we have to really evaluate their behavior because behavior speaks more loudly. Intention is like I might get a bonus in a year and I might not get a bonus. But if I know I'm going to get a bonus, maybe I'm going to work harder for it. Or do we just work harder because we know within ourselves that's what we want? But being careful to actually see what you're receiving back and not sugarcoat it, not look at it through rose-colored glasses, but make sure that it's an equal exchange overall. Certainly, some give more than others at one time and so on. But when somebody's repetitively shown that they're disrespectful, think that through. Because when we tolerate, we reduce our joy. When we tolerate that which is not okay by us and for us, we get stuck. We often end up in resentment, and we have the power to make a different choice, to set healthier boundaries within ourselves and for ourselves. So this week, I invite you to do some reflection. Is there anywhere in your life you're addicted to someone's potential? And what is the behavior they're showing you? Because maybe you are addicted to their potential and they're working really hard and they're getting there. That's one thing when somebody's working on themselves. And it's the second thing when they're not, working on themselves and they're just looking for external validation and people to do everything for them. So that's your food for the thought for this year, for this week, because I will be back next week. That's all for today. Remember, your emotional freedom isn't found in controlling everything around you, but in releasing what no longer serves you. Each breath is an invitation to let go and embrace your most authentic self. Have a fabulous week.